Little Maddox is right here. Y'all check this Comfrey out. I planted this Comfrey like 2 years ago, I want to say. And I've already cut it like 6 or 7 times. Okay, 5 or 6 times. But y'all look at the size of this plant. Now this is a Russian Bocking 14. That is the one that has sterile seeds. Maddox, stop kicking the mulch now. We need that there.
What?
That is the one that has sterile seeds. So every time this plant grows and then it produces seeds and they hit the ground, nothing happens, y'all. But look at the beautiful plumage right here, y'all. I cut this, shoot, at least 5 times. I feed it to my animals. I use it for fertilizer. Y'all, you can take this stuff, chop it up, put half of a 5-gallon bucket of leaves, fill the rest of it up with water, put a lid on it, set it in the hottest part of your field. Some people can't wait for 6 weeks. Some people do a 3-week fertilizer mixture, and it works. You just don't have to use as much water. But y'all, if you wait the 6 weeks on this Comfrey, it will make the most pungent odor, but amazing nectar of the gods fertilizer you've ever seen. I mean, you mix that with worm casting, which you know I have a worm farm now. I've always had worms, but now I'm gonna produce, I'm making the worm farm so I can get the worm castings and the fishing bait, y'all. But Comfrey grows way deep in the ground. It's been known to grow over 10 feet into the ground. It mines minerals most plants have never mined before. And by planting it next to your fruit trees, well, it shields the roots and the lower base of the tree for you. And not only that, but it'll contain the moisture right there, because if you're cutting it and dropping it, just, y'all, the plant is amazing. Just cut it, drop it. It'll make the best mulch fertilizer around your plant. It will fertilize like crazy. And if you're cutting it and making fertilizer with the rest of it, liquid in the field in a bucket, I mean, you're just really packing it on. But because it's mining so deep, it's also giving it to your fruit trees, y'all. This tree isn't even supposed to have fruit, y'all. This tree isn't even that old. Look, it only gave me 3. I took one off, but it only gave me 3. But this tree's not even supposed to have fruits on it, y'all, at all. Not one time. This is a pink lady apple, and it's putting fruit on already in its 3rd year. I grew this from a very small root cutting. Now people ask me, do you ever sell this plant? Yes, I do. As you can see, look how small these look. But y'all, this one hasn't been planted as long as this one. But this one is only smaller because I cut it in completely in half, if not 3/4. You need to leave at least 1/4 of the plant, I will say that. But as long as you leave 1/4 of the plant, look how beautiful this plant is. Y'all, this thing is unbelievable. They say that you can't get rid of them. And if you had the variety that I'm talking about, not the Russian Bocking 14 version of this plant right here, this is the Russian Bocking 14, but the actual wild Comfrey plant, you can plant it here and it's gonna grow to your neighbors 20 miles away from what they have talked about and said. It will continuously grow and spread and spread and spread, but this doesn't spread. And what you have to do is you can cut the plant, cut all the greenery off the top, and there'll be like these little yellowish brown looking things on top of the root ball. That's called your crowns. And by cutting just that yellowish brown, it'll be a bunch of it, y'all. And I've experimented with it. I can take and cut them in half. Those are called the crowns. Those are usually the ones that cost the most if you see them on eBay or online anywhere, because y'all, within 2 weeks, you have a full plant with leaves. Now, if you get the root cuttings, it'll take you a month or 2, sometimes less, according on what kind of your soil is, for it to establish in the ground. But y'all, guess what? All these plants I just showed you came from a very small root, no more than 1.5 inches long. It had 2 little roots off of it, and all it said was dig a hole, plant it in the ground. That's what I did. And now I have the Comfrey that I'm selling, that I'm adding more on my property, but from the root cuttings, small root cuttings. And y'all, when I tell you it comes with a ton, I cut 3/4 of this plant. I don't even think I did that. I think I cut half of this plant. I got like 50 or 60 other plants already producing on my front porch. The ones I haven't given away, the ones I haven't already planted on my property, all came from 1/2 of a plant. And I could have grown almost 100 already off of it. I could have grown way more than that if I'd have took the whole plant up. But y'all, I'm planting it everywhere because any kind of residual income you can get selling these root cuttings, selling the crowns. Like I paid $5 a long time ago, which I think that's what it still is, $5, sorry. I paid $20 for 5 cuttings of roots, about that much. So I think that's what I paid years ago. Pretty sure it was $20 for 5 cuttings. They might have been 1.5 inches long. And I've already got all the Comfrey that I've just shown you now. Now I've taken that same plant, just one of them, and I've made over 50 cuttings. 50 plants, I mean, are already here. The crowns only took 1 week. They say it takes 2 weeks. In 1 week, every crown I planted was grown up to a bush. I've already given it to my friends. I'm gonna save some to sell. I planted some on my property. So y'all, Comfrey is an amazing fertilizer. You hear people say the animals don't want to touch it until it dries out or whatever. I'm a little different on that. My pigs, goats, sheep, anything that you've had, they eat it immediately. You can dry it and use it for winter hay and all that. That's the reason I'm planting it everywhere, because my pig Jelly loves the heck out of it. She'll eat as much as you can hand her. She doesn't care if it's fresh. She doesn't care if it's dry. She'll eat the purple flowers, which have the seeds that are sterile. And y'all, Comfrey is an amazing addition to your farm. And as you see here, I have one on this side of this peach tree, and I have one on this side of this peach tree. Then I have that one on this side of that apple tree, and that one on this side of that apple tree. I'm gonna put it all the way around. And some people ask me why I went so far away, because these plants can grow really big and bushy, and they can choke out a lot of weeds. And I don't want to plant it right up next to the apple tree because, like I said, I give away some, I sell some. I'm your boy Maniac. Hope you enjoyed the video. We out.